Bonjour and welcome to day 2 of our last week of my 21-day program to build your resolve and ignite your fire. Yesterday we focused on finding or thinking about what is our own taste, what is your own taste, and looking at your home and figuring out, does it actually match your own taste? And we also found what is your personal touch of bad taste. In the outline of the week, I voluntarily started with the two things we would think about least when thinking about the 5 senses related to a home or to interior design or decoration, which are the taste and also the hearing. When people think about their home and about the senses, I think, and the harmony of their home as well, I think probably what they would first think about is the sight and maybe the smell, but not the sounds that belong to their home. And there is a book that I just read recently by a man called Eric Brun-Sanglar. Eric Brun-Sanglar is a French interior designer based in the US. He's quite famous. And he just wrote a book. I'll put the reference of the book in the workbook. He became blind aged 33 and continued on doing his job of an interior designer. And this is one of my favorite quotes by Eric Brun-Sanglar, because being blind, obviously he still manages to do his job because he's playing with all the other senses than sight, and he's extremely successful. He lives in California, and this is the quote I'm reading now. The quote, he says, "My house only reflects my emotional balance. It's a place where I feel at peace with myself." So just imagine if you lost the sight, you became blind, and you entered your house. What would you notice first? Yes, the smell probably, but the sounds also and the noises in your house would be the first thing that you would certainly notice. And right now, you just put them in the back burner because sight is so important. But the sounds actually contribute to the whole harmony and to the emotional balance of your house. And the proof is, if you have ever noticed how in a different place, when you sleep in a new place, in a new environment, and the sounds are not familiar, maybe it is sounds of some water in the pipes, or the sounds of the wildlife, or maybe just the sound of silence if you are sleeping in the countryside. It's quite unsettling in the beginning, and you feel a little bit uncomfortable by this noise that you don't know. So what I would like you to do first in today's exercise, today's class, which is about the hearing, I would like you to stop, to close your eyes for a second, and to start noticing the noises in your home. What do you hear? And you will see that you very quickly manage to define a place's identity by the noises. So, for example, for me, the sound of Dubai is always the sound of the cooing dove in the morning. And every time I hear a cooing dove, it reminds me of Dubai. Or the song of the muezzin calling for the prayer. Or also there is always this kind of, even when it's silent, it never really silent, there's a kind of a distant roar, a bit like a river that never stops. Something in the background. For Paris, for me, for instance, in the winter, it's the song of the crows. Or it's also the noise of the cars driving by, particularly when the streets are wet. There's a very specific noise that it makes. Or in my building, it's the sound of the entrance door because I'm on a low floor. So I always hear people ringing on the interphone, and then the doors, the door opening and closing. So for me, this is the sound of Paris, and the sound of the summer also for me. I noticed there are sounds associated to each season of the year. So for me, the summer, for instance, is the sound of a propeller airplane. I don't know why, but it's a propeller airplane. It's a land mower, or it's the sound of children splashing, jumping into a swimming pool. So I think you just talk about this example, you will have noticed how sounds really define a place and a season, and we always underestimate them. So not only do sounds define a place and a season, so they are attached to your home, but also I would like you to notice something more about the sounds, and so your sense of hearing, is how the sounds in one same place, so in your home, how they each belong to a certain time of the day. So for example, in my home, in the morning, the first thing I do, I open the radio and I turn on a Radio Classique. Then in the daytime, it's on and off silence and the radio. I have FIP going on, radio, or maybe in the sometimes TSF Jazz, and in the evening I have the children, so that's another kind of of a noise track, and when the children are in bed, I always put my own playlist on Spotify. So these sounds are my companion throughout the day, and they also sequence the day and they define different times of the day. And as you will notice also, some of the sounds around you are very relaxing. So for me, it can be very, mundane things, such as, not mundane, common things or stupid things, like the sound of a vacuum cleaner. For me, it's super relaxing. I don't know why, it's always been very relaxing, or the press iron, also the sound of the press iron, also because in my building there's a caretaker, and every morning she washes the courtyard and then she sweeps it at 6:30 a.m. Just hearing the sound of the broom, sweeping the floor, I find it, I don't know why, super relaxing. And some of the sounds are very stressful, like voices waking me up at night, or construction works, or some sirens, or loud music, or children fighting or whining. This immediately, stresses me, and it can stress me tremendously. So what I would like to give you as a homework for today, I would like you to first stop, notice what are the sounds that belong to your house. What sound soothes you, and what sounds stress you. And also, I want you to write down what are the different sounds that belong to each different moment of the day. So listen with open ears and make your lists. And the idea, of course, from there on will be to notice the sounds, to enjoy more of the soothing ones, of the ones that make you smile. Because you know what? This is just free well-being. You don't have to pay for the dove to coo, or, for the sound of the caretaker sweeping the courtyard in the back. It's free well-being. Just stop, notice them during the day and enjoy them. And the second thing, of course, is to make everything you can to reduce the stressful ones. So for example, if something that stresses you is that your partner is snoring and it just wakes you up at night, well, maybe you want to sleep in a different room or sleep with earplugs for a while. It can be an idea. But I will move on to the tips and tricks to harmonize your home and each of the 5 senses in the last day of the week, so I don't want to really delve into the subject right now. And the last part of your homework is to define your different ambiances at different times of the day. So to help you, I am very happy also to share my Spotify playlist, and I found that for me, particularly during COVID, having a soothing sound, and listening to some music I loved and that reminded me of good memories was very, very helpful. And it helped me to evade and sometimes to think about summer, or the vacation, or my friends, or whatever. So I've created last year a playlist on Spotify, which is my COVID-19 playlist. And there is a link here on this webpage. So you can listen to my playlist, and maybe you like some of the titles and add them to your own Spotify playlist. And other than that, just relax, listen to the sounds, and don't forget to really enjoy the free sounds that you hear and that make you feel good. I will see you tomorrow. Enjoy your homework and open your ears. Bye.